This podcast could potentially have adult language, adult themes, definitely drinking, and possibly the possibility of sexual content. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Drinking with Authors, the literary briefs edition. I just sprung what this is on our guest today. I am your host, Erica Lance. My co-host today is the fabulous Danielle Orsino. And our guest today, who just found out this is rapid fire questions, is Lee Bukowski. Woo! Welcome, Lee.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about what we're drinking. I'm almost done, which is probably a good thing, because I found a bottle of Viking Blood mead, which is so amazing, in my fridge. My fridge is a portal to another alcoholic realm for those listening and wondering why I keep finding stuff. It's true. Anyway, I'm at the very last of it, but it is rather potent. I'm not going to lie. I'm wearing a sweater. I'm sweating a little bit. It's fine. Danielle, what are you drinking?
I'm nursing the rest of my chai tea latte in my little astrological Cancer cup.
Awesome. I didn't know you were a Cancer.
Yes, I am. It says I'm adaptable, humorous, imaginative, loving, and sympathetic.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm a Pisces. There are two different ways people view Pisces. So I'm going to just leave it at that.
Yeah,
Lee,
cool.
what are you drinking?
So my drink of choice is an old fashioned, but a little early in the day for me. So I made a small old fashioned. And so instead of an old fashioned, I've named it a middle-aged fashion.
I like that.
Right?
I like that.
Nice.
Okay.
I did not do a middle-aged meat class.
You went
No,
for
you
it.
did not.
No,
You
I
went
did
for
not.
it.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay, here we go. Ready for the
Okay.
rapid fire questions?
As ready as I'm going to be.
Well, that's true. What is your favorite book of all time?
Well, I can tell you one,
Okay.
which is A Book Thief.
Okay. Why?
It was just one of those ones that stayed with me long after I finished it. And I will tell you, it is one of only 2 or 3 books I've ever reread. And I think the other ones are probably if I could say 3 favorite books. So that one, Fortune's Rocks by Anita Shreve. I don't know if you remember that from years ago.
No.
Loved that one. And then also John Grisham's A Time to Kill is up there at the very top of my favorite book. Those are the 3 books I've reread.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I would have to say, I could list 100 books that I love, but if I have to give a favorite or 2, I would say those.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. What about your least favorite books?
I started reading, she's dead, so I think it's all right. I started reading Harper Lee's. So I'm a recovering English teacher, so To Kill a Mockingbird, great. Got the Go Set a Watchman. I couldn't get past the first, 30 pages. It was terrible. And so I didn't finish it, if I'm allowed to say that. Just couldn't get through it. And I think I was just so disappointed because it's like, it was the author of To Kill a Mockingbird. So I thought, this is going to be great. Maybe someone else thought it was great. I did not. I hated it. Sorry, not sorry.
To Kill a Mockingbird?
No, I loved To Kill a Mockingbird. I hated Go Set a Watchman.
Okay, good. I was like,
Yeah.
I love To Kill a Mockingbird.
No,
Let's not get in a fight in the beginning of this podcast.
No. Did you read Go Set a Watchman?
No.
Don't bother. No, maybe you'll like it. Maybe you'll like it. I didn't like it. Did you read it, Danielle?
No, I can't go back anymore. English really scarred me. I had to read Johnny Tremain.
It does that. Oh, it does that. Yeah, you poor thing.
Yeah.
It does that.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't. We already had the Johnny Tremain discussion. I just can't.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, that book was horrible.
Okay. What about if you are going to cast your book? You need to tell us a couple characters and who would you cast in those roles?
Oh my gosh, this is the one that always gets me because I don't know the names of the younger. I know who they are. Like I can say the girl that was in that. Okay, so my protagonist Tessa is around 30. Okay, so who's the girl who was in? Oh, I think I know her name. Is it Shailene Woodley who was in The Fault of Our
Divergent?
Stars? In what?
Fault of Our Stars. Yes. Yep. She was
Yeah.
in that.
I love her. I also love see, my daughter's gonna yell at me. Emma.
Watson.
Thompson?
Bingo.
Watson, yeah.
Watson, yes.
I just said
Um,
Thompson, wrong Emma.
So the parents in my book are really colorful. They're main characters and they are very colorful. And so I'd love to see, they're Italian, but anybody can get, so of course, when I was growing up, I loved Julia Roberts. I loved, so the big ones, of course, you always want to see the big names as your main characters. But I always loved, and I think he's too old now, but I always loved Andy Garcia and Nicolas Cage. So I'd love to see someone in that vein as like the parent.
Nicolas Cage could still do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
I think he can still do it.
Nicolas Cage can do anything. So
Because he can look,
Yeah.
he can kind of look like he's, older or younger. So the other, so Tessa's husband, and again, I'm bad with the names of the younger actor. Both my daughters are going to yell at me when I tell them you asked me this question. So again, he's like, 30 to 35-ish. So it'd have to be somebody, he is handsome, dark hair. I can't. I know I would know them to see them, but I don't know the names of the young. I don't know the names of the 30-something male actors. I failed at this question. Do you have one of those buttons you can hit like eh?
I should get one of those buttons.
Yeah.
Danielle,
Ooh,
make a
we
note. I
should.
need a button.
Button. Got it.
Yeah.
Check.
Do you
I need
know
a
any? So can you think of like somebody who in that age group who's just kind of very so very charming, but like has kind of a really other side to him that
Penn
you don't
Badgley or the What about like one of those guys, like one of the Gossip Girl guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
one of those
we're
guys.
casting the movie for her. We're just gonna
Yeah.
put people
We
in it.
got it.
I'm gonna have to pay you. So have your people call my people because I'm gonna
I
need
got it.
help with
Don't worry
this.
about it. Yeah. We'll just grab from the CW or something. It'll all be good.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll nail it. Okay. Did you have your book? Is your book an audiobook?
Not yet. And that's one of the next things that I need to work on. Right now it's paperback and Kindle. But I'm going to, that's on my list I have a call coming up this spring with an author who's going to tell me everything I need to know about having my book made into an audiobook. Because a lot of people ask me that.
Well, audiobooks are really, really popular. So
Yeah.
I love them.
yeah, I love the audiobooks. I think that's yeah.
I think the trick is finding, like, I hate my voice. So I don't know that I would want to be the.
Oh no, get a narrator.
No.
Yeah.
And not only that, unless you've done this, you don't want to do this. It's a lot of work.
I would not want to do that.
No.
If you wrote a memoir, yes, you need to record it. If you wrote the memoir, because it's your voice, it's your story, right? If you're writing a biography, that kind of thing. Other than that, leave it to a professional.
Leave it to a professional. Yes.
Yep.
I'm big fan.
Agreed.
Big fan of leaving it to a professional.
I'm all
Okay.
about it.
What is your favorite weird food combination?
My favorite weird food combination.
Yeah, like when you eat it, people go, "That's weird," or "What are you eating?"
Wow, you got me. Let's see. See, I'm a very creative eater because I have celiac disease. Do you know what that is?
Oh yeah.
Yep, I have it.
You do? It sucks.
Yes.
Doesn't it suck? So I have to be very creative. So like I'm the person who has to do like the cheeseburger on the lettuce because I can't eat the roll. So it's not that I really like weird combinations of things. It's kind of like I'm forced to be innovative and, so I don't know if there's anything that a combination of something I eat that people would say is weird. I don't know. I feel like I could put peanut butter on almost anything and get away with it, but
So not a snack or something that you eat, like that you put. We can skip and go. What about
We
what's
need the
your
button.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
need
need
the
a button.
button. Get the button, Danielle.
I
Obviously,
gotta get, all right, I'm working on the button.
get the button resolved because this show I've needed 2 buttons.
I know
Um,
already.
yeah.
I'm not a weird snacker. I have to think about that. I mean, ooh,
Okay, we'll come back to that.
We'll come
back to
back.
that
What
one.
about your favorite ice cream flavor?
Are you ready for this?
I don't
Mhm.
know because we didn't get an answer on the last one, so maybe not.
Maybe this is it.
I actually don't think you're ready for this, but I'm gonna lay it on you. Vanilla.
That's crazy.
I know,
You rebel.
I know, right? Right? And I'm so like, I feel like I'm this, adventurous kind of person, but then when it comes to ice cream,
You like
vanilla.
vanilla.
And I always get that. Do you want this on it? Do you want that? No, I just
vanilla.
want vanilla. I will tell you a fun story. I was in California visiting a friend and we were in Sausalito and we were getting ice cream and everywhere we went, there was vanilla bean. And I'm like, I don't want vanilla bean. I just want plain vanilla. I don't want to see those little black specks in my ice cream. So we had to walk to several different ice cream shops before I would agree to eat the plain vanilla ice cream.
Oh, well, oh, wow. Okay, picky eater. Picky
Maybe,
eater.
I was gonna say
this is why I don't have an adventurous weird snack. maybe that's my weird snack when everybody else is getting like all sorts of fun ice cream flavors and 2 and 3 different kinds into the same like cup,
vanilla.
which grosses me out. I want plain vanilla. But I do drink bourbon. Do I get any points for that at all? Nothing?
No.
No.
She's
Okay.
drinking mead.
That's true.
Mead.
Yeah.
Mead.
Okay. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got me.
So, what is your favorite book to movie or TV show where you think they did a really good job with it?
My favorite book to movie or TV. Oh, I think I can give you a good answer for this one.
Okay.
I know, aren't you glad?
I'm holding my breath to see if it's a good answer, but yes, I'm excited if it is.
So I love A Time to Kill. I love the movie version of A Time to Kill. So it's one of my favorite books made into one of my favorite movies. And often I'm disappointed, because you have this idea in your head of what characters are going to look like. Matthew McConaughey's courtroom, his closing in the courtroom in that movie. And also Samuel L. Jackson as the person who's accused of the killing. Some of their exchanges, it is so well cast that, it is one of those things where I always think books are better than movies, but it was so well cast and so well done that I think the movie is actually, if not as good, then almost as good as the book. And I never say that.
Wow. Look at that.
Right.
What about where they went horribly wrong?
So I love you, Kristen Hanna, with all my heart and soul, but I'm very confused by the whole Firefly Lane thing. Are you watching Firefly Lane?
I have watched Firefly Lane, but I didn't read the book. So I'm enjoying the crap out of it because I didn't read the book.
Okay. If you read the book, it's so confusing because I loved the book and I love Kristen Hanna. I love everything she writes. But when they did well, it's actually not even a movie, but I guess that's the same thing you're asking. So it's the Netflix series. They've gone way beyond the book. Well, it doesn't stick to the book the way I wished it would. And now it's gone sort of beyond the book almost. And some of it is like before. So I get that. That's fine. But it's just gone so off the rails that I think I'm just like, did I read this book? Like, where did all this come from? I love the characters. I do love the characters. But I think you're right. If I hadn't read the book, I think I would love it more. But yeah, I feel like, when you're watching something and you've read the book and you're getting like frustrated by it, I feel like that's not really a good thing. So
well, I think though, in a previous co-host with a previous person who co-hosted with me said this, and I thought it was kind of brilliant, is you have to treat the the movie or TV show adaptations almost like they're fan fiction of the book.
Yeah.
And not the book, because a lot of times, a lot of the stuff we love about a book has to do with exposition.
Yeah.
And you can't put that much exposition into a script. As a script writer, I can tell you, you don't get that much exposition in the book. So when you're explaining something, and if you start, and now that I'm going to say this, you'll probably start noticing it, is in movies and TV shows, they don't do a lot of, generally, back history as to why we're where we're at. Like The Last of Us, which is a TV show that's on right now based on a video game that's based on a zombie virus that has to do with plants, believe it or not, is doing a very good job of going to backstories, but that's kind of the way the video game is written. Like it goes into, like, turns to a scene as to why this is the way it is, right? But generally what you get is, yeah, it's really dumb that she broke up with Mark last week. Now in the book, there's a whole thing about her breaking up with Mark last week, right? And the whole breakup and all that, but that's not needed for the movie. So you get one line about breaking up with Mark, and then when Mark shows up or has shown up, he's an ex. Like that's all you get to explain that.
Yeah.
So
and I think that's why I'm always a little like, if it's a book I loved and it's being made into a movie, I'm always a little stressed out by it, because I always assume I'm going to be disappointed, and maybe that's just because I love books much more than I love movies.
Well, and they're different forms of art. I mean, the truth is that I hear a lot of people that say like Jurassic Park was one of the best books to movies, and I'm like, it's not even the same damn book. The book is an adult book. Like that movie would have been rated R had they actually followed the damn book, right? And what was happening. But they made it into a kid's movie, and now kids love the freaking dinosaurs. So you have to go, okay, this is going to be a different medium, and they're never going to get all of the story in it, because even just page-wise, they don't have a lot of it.
Right.
And a lot of times they have to meld characters, because there's not, again, exposition. There's not a lot of time to meet all 5 of her best friends. So now she has one best friend, and it's an amalgamation of the 5 best friends, Yes.
And I did love Big Little Lies also. And to bring one more in the present, I know A Time to Kill is like whatever, how many years ago, but I love Liane Moriarty, but I think that I did love Big Little Lies. And again, it was a series, not just a movie. But as you're saying what you're saying, I'm remembering exactly things from the book that had to be either sped up or shortened, or, as you said, you have to kind of maybe glom together some characters, but it's what you have to do to make it, to make that leap. But I also thought that one was very, very good.
Yeah. I haven't read 9 Perfect Strangers. I want to read that because I watched that, and I thought that was actually pretty brilliant recently.
Yeah, that one was one of my least favorite Liane Moriarty books, and I still loved it, which tells you how much I love her. It was different, and obviously she's a creative genius, so she's allowed to do something different. I think you just get into this thing where you're like, this is what I expect from her. It was my least favorite book, and I still loved it. I thought it was so weird that I think if you read the book, the movie is more, or the series, I guess it was, is much more sort of otherworldly than the book. I thought. But
what do you think of the characters? Do you think they did justice to the characters in the book?
I thought it was very well cast. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it.
How good was Nicole Kidman? I mean, she's just so good. Oh my gosh. And she was in Big Little Lies. I mean, she's just so good.
She's fantastic. Plus she seems like she has fun. Okay. Danielle, ask some questions.
Wait, can I go back to the snack one? Is this weird?
It's your podcast. Go ahead.
You have very low expectations for me now. So
I do.
How about How about pretzels in vanilla ice cream? Is that weird?
Okay, so I like ice cream that has things like pretzels and potatoes.
Okay.
I like the
stuff.
crunch.
Yeah, and
But
potato
I
chips.
can-
I was gonna say potato chips in vanilla ice cream also. So maybe, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm a big fan of potato chips and pretzels if they're done right, not too soggy. So I don't know how they manage that, but I do enjoy
Right.
the crunchy, salty part
Well,
of.
see, I can't buy the ice cream that has the pretzels in it because they have
The gluten.
gluten in them. So I
Yeah,
have
they
to
use it as an
buy,
emulsifier.
right. So I have to put my own pretzels in the vanilla ice cream. I'm a lot of fun to invite to dinner. So you might want to do that sometime.
I've had Danielle for dinner. Don't worry, I'm prepared.
You're
I'm
prepared.
prepared. I'm like, good.
She's
Here
ready for it.
is lettuce.
Here's the
There we
menu.
go. This is what we're having for dinner.
And go.
No, you just have to learn to be creative. It's not that hard.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people have different food things. It's definitely finding places that somebody can eat.
Yeah.
But I also introduced Danielle to Sonic, so I am what could be used as a bad example for most
Yeah.
people. So
Sonic is
Never
not where
had
you want to go if you have celiac. Yeah.
Tater tots.
Love tater.
fun.
Oh, that's right. We can eat tater tots. All right. Love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good. Yeah. So we
she
were
had a
good.
good
We were
time
fine.
with the tots. So okay,
Yep.
Danielle, ask some questions though.
Yeah, I got one. Okay, so when you were teaching in the previous life, were there any books that you knew you gave your students and you were just like, oh, this is going to be horrible? Was there
You mean that I
anyone
had
that you
to
were just like,
teach?
yeah, sorry about that? Yeah, that you had to teach and you knew they had to read that you were just kind of like, sorry, kids.
Okay, so this is I have a great answer to this question. So when I was first hired, they had these after school clubs. And because I was the new hire, I got like, I was like the bottom of the totem pole. So, oh, you English teacher, okay, here you go. So I had a group of students and we had to read Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I didn't understand the book at all. I love Ray Bradbury. It was Ray Bradbury, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm not a huge sci-fi fan, although I like a lot of the Ray Bradbury short stories, which I taught. So I'm like, okay, this is great. I'm up here in my big girl clothes. I'm teaching English. I'm after school. I'm going to read this book, and I'm going to come up with fun activities for these kids. So I'm at home reading the book, and I'm like, shit, I don't even understand. I have no idea what this book is about. So I was in such a panic because I was a new teacher. So I had so much other work to do. And I had to read all the other literature before the kids did. So I went into this club and I assigned chapters and I had the kids do like story arcs and things because I didn't understand the book. So I was hoping that by giving them activities to do, they could tell me what the hell the book was about, because I had to this day, I don't have any idea what that book is about. And I was like, why am I doing this to them? And even some of them were saying, I don't really understand this book. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm sure because I couldn't answer their questions because I didn't.
As you get older, there'll be a metaphor. Something like that.
I'm just like, oh, and try to, and it was horrifying. I was dying 1,000 deaths every time I walked into that classroom and had to face those kids. Because, you always have the one or two like really smart kids in there who you think like they're waiting to catch you. And I'm like, they're going to call me out. They're going to like go to the principal and say, she's a fraud. Like she's teaching us this book and she has no idea what it's about. Thankfully, I managed to get through that. But that was the one that I was like, I can't believe I'm assigning this book when I A, hate it, and B, have no idea what it's about.
Wow.
Yeah. Something Wicked This Way Comes. Yep. And then I think they made it into, wasn't it a movie?
It could be.
There were two remakes. I remember there was one way back, and then I think they redid it again. I don't know if they did.
Yeah,
it
and I think I
series or
watched a
movie.
few minutes of it and was like, it was stressing me out so bad. I'm like, I can't go back there. So yeah.
What about the classics? What is a book? Because we don't, I've never asked this for an English teacher. Like, what is a book that was on the required reading that you were like, I really wish they'd take this off. It never goes well.
Yeah.
As far as classics,
Mhm.
I felt like I felt like, at least in my district, I kind of liked, we stuck to things, Dickens and one of the Melville, what's the Moby Dick? Like, why? Why are we doing this? And that was one that was just like,
And it's a long one. So that's the other problem with that particular book.
Yes.
It is forever to read this stupid book about this man chasing this whale, which is not even what the book's really about. But
No. And to go way back, of course they taught Shakespeare in the high schools. That's fine. Introduce the kids to it. You understand. There was a really great course on like modern movies that were kind of not remakes, but could be Shakespearean plays, sort of, hey, this is, but I never understood, like they would make the kids memorize like soliloquies and things like that. Like, why? Like, what is it? I don't, I just really got to a point where I feel like the kids, like if I don't see meaning in it. Now I was very lucky in 7th grade, I taught The Outsiders, which is such a great book.
Love that.
Such a great book. And the kids loved it. In fact, my biggest problem, because I taught the honors kids, my biggest problem was having them not read so far ahead that they would give the spoiler alerts. Like I would threaten them, like they'd come in and go, Johnny dies. And I'm like, be quiet. We're not at that point yet, So I love that. And then in 8th grade, when I taught 8th grade, I taught Animal Farm. And, Orwell, I actually really liked that book as well. And the kids liked it too. As soon as they kind of gave themselves over to the idea that, this is an allegory. It's actually a metaphor. The pigs aren't really alive and running the country. It's a metaphor for, what a dictatorship looks like and what happens under that type of regime. And once they kind of understood that, they really liked it. And it's so different from The Outsiders, but I always felt very fortunate that the novels that I taught were ones that I thought were palatable for the kids, but also something to learn from it. I mean, you could probably teach a whole semester just on Animal Farm, like with all the literary devices and things in that book. But yeah, Moby Dick, I think they were reading at the high school, and it's just like, ugh, dreadful. And the other one was, they taught The Giver. Now, I'm not a huge dystopian fan or utopia. I have enough problems living in this world the way it is now. Like I can't go out there to those other dystopian. So I don't know. The kids didn't really seem to like that one. I didn't teach it. I don't know if that's considered a classic or not.
Farewell to Arms. I remember that one too. Oh. Farewell to Arms, Old Man in the Sea.
Hemingway.
Oh my God.
Hemingway this is how I always felt about those things. I would much rather teach short stories to introduce the kids to that type of writing, because first of all, I mean, some of those books, oh my God, they're so boring. And they, so like you're saying, you're gonna make a bunch of high school or junior high kids read Farewell to Arms. Like you have to take away their belts and shoelaces. Like it's terrible. But give them a short story, and then they can kind of get a flavor for, Hemingway and, but I think too often in education, one of the things I noticed is they were just so unwilling to give it up and say, you know what, that's not good. Like, it's not interesting. Like, we're just going to replace it. It's like, oh, it's a classic, we have to teach it. No, you don't.
Yep.
No, you don't.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, I love To Kill a Mockingbird. I read that in school.
Yes, we did that one too.
The Catcher in the Rye.
I like that one too.
And also, what is the other one? Lord of the Flies.
Now, see, that one I would be into, because I'm not a big, is that considered sci-fi, or is that dystopian?
I don't think it's either. No,
yeah.
It's what would happen if you lost a bunch of kids on an island. I mean, no offense, it's kind of shown to us what happens when these kind of things happen. But like, I found those interesting, but I was not necessarily a huge fan of being forced to read Shakespeare.
I didn't mind Shakespeare as much. For some reason, Shakespeare didn't bother me. And I read Great Expectations, and I was about it until I saw the Ethan Hawke Gwyneth Paltrow movie. Then I liked the
Right.
book more after watching the movie, and the movie bringing it into the like modern day.
Yeah.
Then I could relate the book more. When they did
Yes.
that, and my English teacher did that, he was like, read the book, and then he brought the movie in. And once we
Yes.
did that, I was like, oh, this is Havisham. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, well, didn't
The book was better.
So didn't Leo DiCaprio and what's her name do that for Romeo and Juliet too? Kind of like revived
They
it. Wasn't there a modern day Romeo and Juliet? And
Yeah,
not the
they did
Franco
that.
Zeffirelli one. I mean, years ago, it was
Yeah.
the Franco Zeffirelli, like Olivia de Havilland as Juliet. Like, oh, right.
We watched
I
that
mean,
one.
That
We
was,
watched that.
but I think you're so right, Danielle, when you really can bring it into, because really what you're trying to teach them is the literary devices and how to analyze. Like, you don't need to read 17 Shakespeare plays, whatever you're trying to do there, you don't need to, it's overkill.
Well, that, and they don't teach you the words, like what it meant.
Right.
Like a lot of people, I've heard people and students and stuff quote, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo, right?
They have
And
no
they
idea.
think that he's asking where he is. And I'm like, that's not what that means.
That's not what that
yeah.
means.
Like everybody said, oh, Romeo and Juliet. No, like this is 3 days and 6 people died. This is not a good story, right?
No. And
And-
they're really young.
And they're very young.
Yeah.
And you just have to go, okay, what are we actually trying to get people to understand here? Because
And it's not that if you're 14 and your heart is broken, you should kill yourself. Like that, this is not what we want kids to learn.
yeah,
Yeah.
So,
and you should do a suicide that doesn't go well.
yeah,
because nobody's
exactly.
suicide.
You should have a suicide pact with your, no.
That really was just miscommunication. Let's just get that
Okay.
clear.
Right.
You know?
So Danielle, asked
Now they could text. Now they'd be able to text and be like, hey, it's okay now. They couldn't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It took the horses like days to get there. So yeah.
there
Good
is
point.
that. Okay, Danielle, you get a question, then I'll ask the final one.
If there was one literary world that you could visit for a day, where would you go?
A literary world.
Yeah, like any place, fantasy, or one of the books you've read that you could just go and visit for a day, where would you go?
Okay. Did you guys read One Italian Summer?
No, I did not.
That was a big one last year. And it's set in Positano, like on the Amalfi Coast. And I'm not sure this is you're not asking me. Oh, you're asking me to a world, not necessarily just a setting.
Yeah, no.
Just wherever. Yeah.
Just wherever. Well, then
Yeah.
I got to go Shakespeare, because that's the one thing that I love so much about Shakespeare is I think I would love to go. Well, no, scratch that. Sorry. Great Gatsby. I think in the Roaring 20s, I think I would have loved to live in that era. I think the clothes, the partying, just the very, just kind of the loose sort of outlook, the sort of the way people approached life in that era.
Just have a good time.
Yeah, have a good time. I mean, I would,
Cool.
I kind of would love to go back to Shakespearean times just to see what it was like to get through the day, like not bathing and things like that really fascinate me. But I think if I had to choose one, I would go.
Roaring 20s.
I would
Great
definitely
Gatsby.
go. Yeah, Gatsby. Definitely.
Okay.
Cool.
I think I would love those dresses,
Little
with
dresses,
the fringes and
flapper
everything.
fringes.
Yeah. And those shoes that always look like you're getting ready to break into a tap dance. I really think I could have lived in that era.
They were comfortable.
They
Yeah.
were. Well, the beads, I have to say, I have 3 20s dresses because I've had friends that have done 20s weddings and 20s parties. And
You answered the question. I was going to ask you why you have 3 20s dresses, but okay.
okay, well, there are many answers I could give to these kinds of questions. If I open that closet right there behind me, it is full of cosplay, very much like the closet to the left of my friend Danielle there. We have many things that people would go, why do you have that?
Why do you have
Um,
that?
But the sitting on the beads, depending on the dress, can be kind of not a pleasant experience.
That's true.
Good point.
That's true.
Yeah.
You hear them breaking. Yeah. Yeah.
You do. Okay, so my question for you is this. If you could meet and have lunch with any author, living or dead, who would it be?
Living or dead?
Well, they'd be alive when you were having lunch with them.
Yeah, because that would be
somebody-
boring. Yeah, if they were
Yeah.
dead at the lunch, that probably wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Okay. This might surprise you. See, it's hard to pick just one. So I'm going to pick one of my favorites who I still read, and that would be Ann Tyler.
Okay.
I love her. I absolutely love her. I love the way she studies, how her writing to me is such a study in human nature. She just nails exactly what you're thinking when you meet someone and talk to them, but somehow she manages to convey it. She just has that very, it's amusing, but it's so intuitive and it's so descriptive. And I just love the way she writes her characters. And I would love, and she's written so many books, and she does it in every single one of them. And in fact, often when I'm writing, I'll pull out a book of hers and I'll just open it somewhere in the middle or wherever, and I just read a little bit of her writing because it's almost like it grounds me. I just love her. So
Cool.
there you go.
Okay. Shameless self-promotion time. Let's talk about your book, where to get it, and where to find you on social media.
I happen to have a copy of it right here. A Week of Warm Weather. Here it is, my debut novel, my baby. Anywhere books are sold online, Amazon, Walmart, Barnes and Noble. Support your indie bookstores. But I am also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I have a wonderful website that my very talented daughter made for me, leebukowski.com. Has all the buying options, everything you can read about the book, you can read about me, you can read about my publishing journey and articles I've written and blog posts I've written, and events if I happen to have any in your area, or if you'd like to have me virtually visit your book club. leebukowski.com is where you can read all about me and my book, and I certainly hope you'll check it out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
I am so glad. I'm so glad. Okay, guys, this has been Drinking with Authors, our Literary Briefs edition. I've been your host, Erica Lance. My co-host has been the fantastic Danielle Orsino.
Don't forget to like and subscribe because we love to hear your feedback.
Yes, absolutely. Our guest has been Lee Bukowski, and we will see you guys next time.
Yay!